So, have you ever felt like your memory could use, I don't know, a serious upgrade? Well, today, we're going to unlock a skill that honestly feels like a real life superpower. But here's the best part, the real secret: anyone can learn it. So get ready because we're about to transform your memory from just okay to absolutely incredible. I mean, you've seen them, right? Those memory champions on TV just rattling off thousands of digits of pi without even blinking. How on earth do they do that? Do they have some kind of photographic memory? Are their brains just different? Nope. The answer is so much simpler and way more accessible than you'd ever guess. That's it. It's not magic. It is a system that is totally trainable, totally learnable. It's a technique that hacks into how your brain is already wired to work. And right here, right now, I'm gonna let you in on the secret. Okay, but before we get to the solution, let's talk about the problem we're trying to solve. And trust me, it's something every single one of us deals with, probably every single day. All right, look at this number on the screen. Seriously, give it a good stare for a few seconds. Okay, now look away. How much of it do you remember? If you're like most of us, probably not much, right? And listen, that is not a failing on your part, it's actually a feature of how our brains are designed. I mean, think about it. For thousands and thousands of years, what did we need to remember? Things like, the path back to the cave, the face of a dangerous animal, where to find water. Our brains got really good at remembering images and places. But abstract numbers? That's a pretty new invention in the grand scheme of things, and our brains just haven't really had time to catch up. So what do? How do we bridge that gap? How can we possibly translate the boring language of numbers into the visual language our brains understand? Well, you use a secret weapon. It's called the PAO system. And at its core, PAO is all about encoding, basically translating that boring data into these super vivid, unforgettable mental scenes. It takes those digits that are so hard to remember and turns them into something your brain is an absolute expert at recalling. Weird, wonderful, and yeah, often totally wacky pictures. Okay, now for the really fun part. Let's get into the nitty-gritty of how this thing actually works. You might be surprised at how simple the structure is. Really, it all boils down to just 3 simple steps. You chunk it, you assign it, and you combine it. That's it. You take a big, scary number, you break it into smaller pieces, and then you use a special list you've created to build one single, powerful image. Let's walk through a classic example so you can see it in action. Okay, so we're gonna use this 6-digit number here, 341379. Right now, it's just a random string of digits, but in a few seconds, it's going to become a scene that I promise you are not going to be able to forget. All right, step 1. We take that first pair of numbers, 34. Now, in our pre-made PAO list, the number 34 is always assigned to a specific person. And for this example, that person is the one and only Frank Sinatra. Go ahead, picture him right now, maybe in his classic fedora. Okay, next up, the number 13. Now here's the trick. We don't care about the person for number 13. We only want to borrow their signature action. So let's say on our list, the person for 13 is, I don't know, soccer legend David Beckham. What's his action? Kicking, right? So we grab that action and we give it to Frank Sinatra. And you can probably guess the last part. We've got the number 79. And just like before, we're gonna ignore the person for 79, maybe it's Superman, and we just steal their signature object. And what's Superman's most famous object? Has to be the cape, right? And here, this is where the magic happens. We combine the person from the first number pair, the action from the second, and the object from the third. And just like that, poof, the number 341379 is not 6 boring digits anymore. It is one single, bizarre, and totally unforgettable image. Frank Sinatra kicking a cape. How weird is that? But your brain will hold on to that image so much easier than the number. Okay, I know what you're thinking. Wait a minute, where did you pull Frank Sinatra and a kicking cape from? And that is the perfect question, because that leads us to the foundational work. And this is where you get to have some fun and be creative. See, to really use the PAO system, you first have to build your own personal codebook. And this is basically a list that has 100 entries, one for every single two-digit number, from 00 all the way up to 99. And for each number, you need to assign it a person, a unique action, and a unique object. And this is what makes the system so powerful. It becomes uniquely yours. For number 7, maybe you pick James Bond. His action is ordering and his object is a martini. For 23, it could be Michael Jordan. His action is dunking and his object is a basketball. The real key here is to make them vivid and personal to you, because that's what makes them stick in your brain.
And yeah, I get it. Coming up with 100 different people, that sounds kinda daunting. But as Nelson Dellis, a 4-time USA Memory Champion, puts it, it can actually be a really fun, creative process. It's almost like you're building your very own secret language for your memory.
But once you've built that list, oh man, a whole new world of memory just opens right up. And this is not just some cool party trick either. This is an incredibly practical tool you can use in your everyday life. Just think about it for a second. A 10-digit phone number, that's just 2 of these PAW images. A historical date, that's 1 single image. Passwords, bank account numbers, even a completely shuffled deck of playing cards. All of this abstract data can be transformed into a short, memorable little movie playing in your head. So what you've really learned here is the secret to data compression, but for your brain. You're taking these huge amounts of boring, totally forgettable information, and you're converting it into these small, rich, unforgettable images. That right there is the core of your new memory superpower. So, the technique is yours now. The potential is pretty much limitless. You literally have the keys to unlock a truly powerful memory. So I guess the only question left is, what are you going to remember first?